JMats here, GenerationD20.com. Going to start up a 8-4 Return to Ravnica draft here in a moment. I've been hopping back and forth, playing some Cube, but I don't know. Cube has a certain charm to it, but at the same time, just the, I don't know, unbalance of the cards. I mean, everyone has good cards, so I guess it's not really unbalanced, but there are just some really fake games in Cube, and I kind of appreciate just a good old block draft. And Return to Ravnica has turned out to be a pretty good block. Not as good as Innistrad. Really still like Innistrad, but it never fires, so Return to Ravnica it is. And, okay, first pick here really comes down to 3 cards. Wayfaring Temple, if we think we can force our way or find our way into a populate deck, Sunspire Griffin, or the Skymark Rock. I personally kind of think the Skymark Rock. Wayfaring Temple, just, there are times where it's a dead draw. Skymark Rock, it's almost always what you want to be pulling. Okay, so looking at what our 2 options from that last one would have been, we would be probably following up with Courses Accord, if that had been our pick. Here we have the Seller of Songbirds versus Azorius Arrestor. I'm a bit more of an Arrestor fan, personally. They both are stall tactics, but I like the Arrestor a little bit more. Here I think Dramatic Rescue, hoping that either Guard or Pegasus might table. And with Glee, a couple Guild Gates, that Lobber Crew, it's possible that one of those cards will come back to us. Here, Keening Apparition's the only thing on color other than Avenging Arrow. And typically I don't like to run Avenging Arrows, but if I'm really low on removal, I've been known to do it from time to time, and I usually want a Keening Apparition. If nothing else, I don't want them to be destroying my Nightly Valors that I'm sure are going to be flowing like water here soon. I've had some luck with the Ethereal Armor deck, but typically I end up more doing just Nightly Valor powerful on its own. Okay, Sunspire Griffin, Frostburn Weird, or Guildgate. I don't mind running weirds in Azorius, but I think the Sunspire Griffin does its job and does it well, and should be right where we want to be. Azorius Charm is, I think, the pick here. Guildgate's good, Runewing I would take, but the Charm, the tempo of putting it on top of the library can be huge. Lifelink I've also seen swing some games unexpectedly. Eyes and Skies, but I think Judgment, one of the problems with Azorius is you don't have a whole lot of removal, so when you do get it, whether it be Arrest or something like Judgment here, you gotta take it. I like to have at least one SAR Patrol. It's a nice surprise. You can normally, in the course of a draft, get at least a couple creatures dead to its Flash. And Tower Drake is just fine. I mean, honestly, right now, all 9 of our cards um, are playable. So that's pretty good. And that's telling me that we're probably in the right color. And just looking at some things that came around, Griffin, etc. Here, I think I'm going to take the Accord. Spawn would be the other possibility. I mean, either one's going to be a hate draft, but I find usually the 2 creatures are more problematic than 1 big creature who can't block. Then here we have high-end threats versus low-end blockers. I think maybe I'll go with a Skywatch. And here, Avenging Arrow, just to push anyone who's tempted to go into white a little bit farther out of it. Got the Guildgate back. That's an awesome pickup that late. Crosstown Courier. So yeah, Azorius really does appear to be wide open with the cards that are flowing. Let's hope that's true going the other way. And first pick here, I think by a fair margin, is Void Wielder. There are enough things in this format where bounce is exactly what you want. Hope to wheel Seller of Songbirds, but looking at the cards, not promising. Well, this one's a little bit tougher. Just as Sure, or however you say that, versus Sky Knight. I think I take Sky Knight just because of the offensive beatdown it can give in the sky. Would love to get like Sunspire back, and I mean, it's possible. It's a pretty good pack. Probably not getting either of the 2 cards I really wanted back, but Sunspire is a sweet card. Also, by picking this, I don't know, it pushes people away unless they are fully committed to white when there's a double white in the casting cost, whereas if they're, let's say, Izzet but thinking about splashing a little bit of white, that they may be more likely to go for the Sky Knight there. So it continues to come together. Cards that may not make the cut, the Arrow, the Skywatch. I mean, when you're being Sky Knights and Sky Marks, Skywatch just doesn't live up. Ooh, and a second Skymark. Would like that Knightly Valor, but can't pass a Skymark Rook for a Knightly Valor. It just does too many things well if it didn't just, attack for 3 through the air. Something I may have to actually look for as we're doing this. Star Patrol does probably, but like Armory Guard, even a Doorkeeper could do some work in this deck. Now, would I rather have that than a Concordia Pegasus? Or live the dream of the Ethereal Armor? I think I might prefer to have the Pegasus. Pegasus doesn't stop some of the things. So maybe Doorkeeper. Maybe a nice thing about Doorkeeper is it will stop your Splatter Thugs and your Dead Revelers. Okay, got another Sunspire Griffin. That is nice. If you get enough of those, they completely outclass the Vassal Soul and kind of are better than Tower Drakes. And I'm still hoping to wheel one off of that. What was it? Wasn't the first pack, second pack. So that would be at card 25. So maybe that's not real likely that it would make it that far, but I'm kind of ruling the air right now. And looking at this, here I think I take it if for no other reason than to make sure someone else doesn't get into that. Okay, Armory Guard is what we had talked about. I think works well in a deck like this. And Knightly Valor, will happily add that to my pile. From here, okay, this is the first pack we had. All the Gavel isn't going to make the deck. Risen Sanctuary is a card that we actually would have trouble against, I guess. Wow, I can't believe that made it. Well, I considered first picking it, and instead I got it, or second picking it. Instead I got it 10th. Downsize, we could take that. The foil planes, just as a good omen. That is not a 10th pick card. So we're still a little light early. But we definitely pick it up here in the mid game. And with a whole pack to go, sky's the limit for how good this deck could get. Am I rocking any rares at this point? I don't think so. I think this is, definitely visiting the uncommons. And some classy uncommons at that. But no rares. No shirt, no service. Okay. Let's get rid of a few more things. I really don't think I want to ethereal armor. But I might want a fairy imposter. That's an interesting one. I could reset him, or him, or him. Like the arrestor, probably not going to table. I'll take the fairy imposter. And then here, I think maybe hover barrier. Hover barrier does everything that doorkeeper does, but does it better. Skyline predator is kind of dangerous against me. May table. I think we'll take the hover barrier. Okay, then here, Palisade Giant seems like it fits the plan of blocking. And the key rune, or an action injunction, either one would work fairly well. I'll take the key rune. So some things that are not going to make it at this point, I think it's fair to say. Ethereal armor is not part of our plans. Engine arrow might be. It's hard to say. Skywatch might be. How do we get rid of things right now? Our only true removal spell is Judgment. Okay, so we have the Vassal Soul, but I think Arrestor This may be better for us. Just the tempo swing and the combination of imposter and getting to do it a second time. Here, launch party, I suppose. Second Knightly Valor, I will definitely take that. How about thirds? So the trick to this deck's going to be cutting it down to bite size. That many arresters, another Hussar Patrol. I really think no one could be playing Guildgate, or Azorius. No one could be playing Guildgate. Just with the picks I'm getting. So maybe I don't Doorkeeper. I could probably cut those two. And really I could cut Skywatch. And I could cut Arrow. And maybe Keyrune. And one of the Armory Guards. That might not be too bad of a plan. Okay. So I want the Giant, I want the Judgment. I'm going to take all 3 Knightly Valors because I'm greedy, and just a share. We're going with 1 Armory Guard, both Griffins, all of my Arresters, Void Wielder, Tower Drake, Hover Barrier, Fairy Imposter, the Rocks, the Patrol, the Sky Knight, Dramatic Rescue, and Charm, Guildgate for good luck, and when do I need blue versus when do I need white? I need double white for that. I'm going to have white in order to do any of those. I think I could go down to that. I'm still at 10-8, essentially, for sources. And that gives me a little better chance of being able to play like that card on time while still having a good chance of getting those. Okay, I am really anxious to see how this deck performs, because just card power wise, I can't remember ever getting this many cards passed to me. It's probably a bad sign, but we will see. And I'll see you in round 1.